All right, I am super pumped to talk to my guest today. Played 3 years at Louisville, a powerhouse of a school, drafted by the Brewers in the sixth round of the 2019 draft. Pitched in Wisconsin and Biloxi last year. Of course, I am talking to Nick Benett. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. How's your off season been?
Fantastic. So after the season, I got to go home for a few months and wind down a little bit
Hmm.
and just focus on working out and spending some time with my family and friends from home who I hadn't seen in a while, and took some pretty cool trips. We took a family vacation to California, visited some other cool cities, and now I'm out here in Arizona. Through spring training, just working out and throwing every day at the complex and working on the craft and getting better.
Well, that's awesome. What part of California did you visit? I grew up in California.
I was in Orange County in
Okay.
California, and then we also were in San Diego as well. So,
Okay, so the complete opposite side of
yes,
where I
correct.
of the Bay Area where I grew up.
Yes,
Uh,
complete opposite.
how was Southern California?
Fantastic. I love California. My uncle and his family lived there, and so we were visiting them. We played some really cool golf courses and got to be outside a lot. The weather was fantastic, so it was a great experience for me, and as well as my mom. That was her first time traveling since she had been done with her treatments,
Hmm.
and so that was a great experience for her and something she really enjoyed as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, man. I was telling you before we recorded. I just came back from California myself. My dad was going through some health scares as well, and the weather. I got off. I left Wisconsin in the morning. It was probably 13, 14 degrees, and I got out in
That
San
sounds about right.
Francisco. In San Francisco, it was like 65 degrees, 70. I was wearing shorts. I felt like this is the
That's right.
craziest thing ever.
That's
And
the
then I get
that's the
back.
beauty of that's the beauty about being out west here. The weather is fantastic all the time.
Yeah, yeah, compared to the Bay Area where it's
Right,
65 degrees in the middle of winter. And
right.
then, of course, this morning it snowed. And, I'm like, man, I should have just stayed a couple more days in California.
That's
I would have
right.
been,
That's
I
right.
would have enjoyed it. But hey, let's jump right into you and your story. How did you get into
Absolutely.
baseball, man? Like what got you into the sport and started your love for the game?
Um, Basically, what got me into baseball was just sports in general to begin with. So my little background on my mom and dad. My dad played college football at University of Cincinnati, and my mom was a dancer at Ohio University. So they were both athletes, and then pretty much from the age of 4 on, I was playing baseball, basketball, and football, um, all the way up until high school. My freshman year of high school, I played all three sports, and then my sophomore year, I dwindled it down to basketball and baseball, and then my junior and senior year, I just focused on baseball. Um, but to be honest, basketball was my very first true love of
Hmm.
sports. Baseball had always been there, and being left-handed and tall always helped the love for baseball to grow as well. And then once I got to high school is when I really started to love baseball and love pitching and just the whole aspect of baseball on the field, off the field, the working out, the mental side of it as well
Yeah.
is a super interesting thing for me as well, and something I'm still building to this day. So baseball became a love of mine very quickly, and as you probably know now, I this is my favorite thing to do. So
Yeah, absolutely. So you were playing three different sports.
yep.
What kind of led you to just dwindle it down to only baseball? Was it just realizing that that was your path, or did you just find, because you said you were a basketball
Actually,
guy? Did you find more enjoyment?
yeah. So actually, I was a huge basketball guy in like grade school.
Okay.
Was played a lot of basketball in Ohio. It's cold a lot, so more indoor sports are going on than outdoor. So I played baseball as well. But once I got to high school, my freshman year, I actually broke my ankle playing basketball, So that following year is kind of how I decided to go with basketball and baseball and cut out football. And then I was playing basketball and baseball my sophomore year. And the high school I went to is pretty well known for athletics. I went to Archbishop Muller High School. It's an
Hmm.
all boys Catholic high school in Cincinnati. And we had a lot of talent in all sports there. So, and they do a lot of like off season program type stuff for specific sports and whatnot. So, it got a little heavy being able to start to handle three sports and then two sports. And I committed to Louisville my sophomore year at Moeller, and that's kind of when once I was committed and we got to my junior year, I was kind of like, you know what, this is what I want to focus on, and
Hmm.
this is what I want to do. So I think the commitment to Louisville kind of helped dwindle it down as well to lock it in to play baseball my junior and senior year before heading off to college.
Gotcha. And you committed pretty early then. You were a
Yeah,
sophomore, you said?
sophomore,
Wow.
I committed September of my sophomore year. I actually took my first unofficial visit to Louisville my eighth grade summer, going into my freshman year.
Wow.
My summer baseball program was Midland in Cincinnati, Ohio, and
Hmm.
our coaches and were in contact with a lot of different college coaches and whatnot. So that's kind of how that started with my first visit to Louisville, just to check out the campus and meet the coaches and see all the good stuff they had to offer.
So, did you ever consider going to Cincinnati? I know you mentioned, your family.
Yes, I did. University of Cincinnati offered me a scholarship as well, and we did consider that as a family and for me. But University of Louisville just was the right fit for me. There's only a couple hours down the road, so my parents
Hmm.
could come watch me whenever they wanted. It was more of a far away enough, but also close
Hmm.
enough type of
I
deal.
got you. I got you.
So to where it felt like I was away from home. I really had a really good fit with that and worked out really well for me. I had a great 3 years at University of
Hmm.
Louisville
Hmm.
in terms of baseball and made some really good memories. Have a lot of friends as well that are still my friends to this day that I went to
Yeah.
Louisville with, and people ask me sometimes if that was the right decision going to
Hmm.
school there, and it 100% was for me, no doubt about it. So
That's awesome. And let's talk about your time in Louisville. I mean, you were joining a team that was absolutely stacked.
yeah,
Cade
yeah, there
McClure, friend
was
of, yeah,
absolutely Cade McClure.
yeah, friend of the show. He's been on the pod. Brendan
Oh,
McKay, Drew
yep,
Ellis,
yep,
Devin Hairston, like a couple. All these guys are in the show, are like guys who are close to being in the show.
right,
Um,
absolutely.
how was it going into that the university with that
You know, I
loaded team as a
I
freshman?
I knew it was going to be a challenge and knew it was going to be very competitive, and that's
Hmm.
what I wanted because I wanted to be in a competitive environment and wanted to continue to better myself on the baseball field and off the baseball field, and that was just the right environment for me. We had a lot of older guys that were good leaders to me and helped us freshmen along the way our first year, and that's one of the reasons we got to Omaha that year was we were
Yeah.
so close as a group. Like older guys and freshmen were hanging out all the time, and there was no disconnect between the older guys and the younger guys, and that was something that was really special to me. So
That's awesome. Was there anybody on that team? I know you said the older guys were really cool at the end. Was there anyone who kind of like took you under the wing and kind of showed you the ropes?
yeah, Cade McClure and Brendan McKay were
Hmm.
two guys that really kind of showed me the ropes along the way my freshman year. Cade is just a great. He was a great leader in the locker room, great leader on
Hmm.
the field, great leader in the weight room, and Brendan was my locker buddy. My locker was right next to Brendan's, and so I got to have a lot of great conversations with him as well. Brendan's a little bit more on the soft-spoken side, but I got to pick his brain a lot, and we became pretty close my time at Louisville, and he taught me a lot as well. And I mean, he's just a fantastic player, great pitcher, and does a lot of good stuff. And so, getting behind him and just kind of watching
Hmm.
how he goes about his business was really cool to see as a freshman in college. So
That's awesome, man. And like I said, K McClure, he's been on. He kind of lit up. Kind of what got me talking to him is that he kind of lit up Twitter when he with that Green tweet, and I reached out to him.
Fantastic tweet. Fantastic
Yeah,
tweet.
absolutely. And we'll talk about the minors in a second here, but yeah,
Sure.
that's kind of why I reached out to him. I'm like, man, I gotta have you on the pod. Let's talk about this. So you played in the ACC, where there's a ton of good programs there.
Absolutely.
Um, was there anyone in the ACC then that is in the show now or in the minors that you just absolutely own? You know, some friendly competition that now that you're in the minors,
Uh,
you're kind of
I think there were a lot of good players all around the ACC, and it was a big challenge for me my freshman year pitching against those guys because
mm-hmm,
I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of guys that are in the show now from when I played there my
mm-hmm,
freshman year, my first year in college at Louisville, and um, I don't have any exact guys that I owned or anything, but I remember playing against a lot of really good players from Florida State,
yeah,
Clemson, North Carolina State, just a lot of good baseball at those schools, and that was a tough challenge for me because Coach Mack kind of threw me into the fire my freshman year. I didn't start my first couple weekends, and my first start was actually a spot start for Brendan McKay on
okay,
a Friday night as a freshman. So that was a really big deal to me, and I kind of took it and ran with it and had a good start there. And then they moved me to the Sunday guy, and it was Brendan, Cade, and then me every weekend from there on out. And that year, and it boded well for us, and we had a lot of good success as a team with that lineup, and did a lot of cool things. So
yeah, no, that's an incredible 1, 2, 3 right there. And I mean, again, you all
absolutely
got drafted.
right.
How was Omaha? How was that experience like? I mean, you went there
Uh,
twice, correct?
Yeah, went there twice. Very blessed to be able to go there
Yeah.
twice and also start twice. I started my freshman year in Omaha, and then started my junior year in Omaha as well. And just a really cool experience for a college baseball player. It just kind of is a time to look back at all the hard work that had
Hmm.
gone on through the years, and all the camaraderie throughout the years with the two teams that I went to Omaha with, and it was definitely one of the best baseball experiences I've ever had in my life to this day. Hopefully not the best, but
Right, right. Yeah, knock on
definitely
wood. There's more.
definitely as of right now, it's one of the best as a team getting to go there, and just kind of they make you feel like big leaguers in Omaha. So that was a really cool experience. Lots of different things, lots of fans. That's definitely an environment with the most fans I've ever played in for sure. And you're
Hmm.
on ESPN as well, so everybody's
Hmm.
watching, and just a very cool experience all around. Being with those guys, like I said, I'm still good friends with a lot of them,
Hmm.
and getting to do that with them was really cool and something I'll remember for a long time.
Yeah, no, that sounds like an experience that you will never forget. I'm
Absolutely.
jealous. I never got that
Absolutely.
opportunity. So at what point playing that in college did you realize that scouts were looking at you and that there was a good chance that you were going to get drafted?
Uh,
Or I guess you
so
got drafted once.
I got drafted out of high school my senior year by the Giants in the 40th round, and that was kind of just like a complimentary type pick. The Giants kind of knew Louisville was the plan for
Hmm.
me, and they were kind of done with the draft at that point. So it was just very nice of them to do that, and they called me and we talked, and I kind of just told them, school's going to be the route for
Yeah.
me, and I just wasn't in my eyes, I wasn't mature enough
Hmm.
as a baseball player and as a person yet to jump into pro baseball, and I am a huge proponent of going to college for 3 or 4 years, whatever that may
Hmm.
be. I think you can learn a lot, just not as a baseball player, but as a
Hmm.
person too. And I definitely was someone who really benefited from going to school for 3 years, and being under Coach Mack and all the staff that we had, and just being able to learn to be on my own for the
Yeah.
first time, but almost in a controlled environment.
Hmm.
So that was something that really benefited me, and helped with my maturity as a person and as a baseball player, being on my own for the first time.
Yeah, a lot of guys that told me that that they're so happy that they went, to college, instead of going straight to the minor leagues and grinding there.
Right.
Um, Antoine Kelly, friend of the show, also he was on a couple weeks ago. He was telling me, he's like, man, I was not ready to go to college, man. I was a kid, or I wasn't ready
Yeah,
to go to baseball. I was a kid, and so he's glad that he went to
exactly.
college, and I'm glad you made that right decision,
Yeah,
and I'm sure
that
it
was
benefited you.
decision. I sat down with my parents
Yeah.
and we discussed the pros and cons of both sides of it. But ultimately, I knew the best decision for me was to go to college and continue to develop my skills and just continue to mature as a pitcher and as a
Hmm.
player and as a person as well. And I think the University of Louisville helped me do that a lot. So
Yeah.
it was definitely the right decision for me, but everybody's situation is different.
Right.
So I've seen plenty of guys go from high school to the minor leagues and grind it out,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
they're doing great in the big leagues now. And it just, like I said, it's based on a
Yeah.
personal
Everyone's
situation
different.
for sure. Everybody has their own situation and has
Yeah.
to handle it how they think is best for them. So
And dude, it worked out so well for you because you were 40th round. Now you went up 34 spots in the sixth spot in the sixth round by the
absolutely,
Brewers.
yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Definitely played out how I expected and how I wanted it to play out for sure.
Yeah. Were you? I know you. And so everyone in college who's expecting to get drafted, you do all the questionnaires and you do all that thing.
Right. Yeah, we
Did you
did
have any
all the
contact with the Brewers?
yeah, we so I did all the questionnaires and filled all that out. I met with scouts from every team my junior year. But obviously, University of Louisville baseball is a prestigious program in the
Yeah.
country, and so that kind of attracted scouts as well, just because we always had other guys too. It wasn't just like, okay, you're coming to see Brendan McKay, but
Hmm.
there's like 10 to 12 other guys you're going to get to look at as well.
Hmm.
So we always had that around our program and around the facility. So I knew the opportunity was going to be there once I got to Louisville,
Hmm.
just making sure I continued to progress as I went and just continue to keep my head down and work hard. And so it was nice for that to happen for me. And like you said, I filled out all the questionnaires and sat down with all the area scouts and had conversations, and I got to know them and they got to know me and feel me out as a player and as a person. And just very thankful for the Brewers to have picked me because it's a great organization and
Hmm.
I really enjoy all the people that are coaches, faculty as well. The front office is fantastic, and then all my teammates and players are great too. So
Yeah. No, for sure. The Brewers are a really good organization. They draft really well.
they do.
Obviously, the big team is just they're going to probably another World Series favorite with the pitching that they have, and hopefully we'll see you added to
The
that.
pitching we have is fantastic, no doubt about
Yes,
it.
all through the
We
south,
had
all throughout the system, like everywhere.
right, absolutely. It's very competitive all the way up and down, which is really good to have, and just a huge benefit to all of us players because it's competitive, and that's a competitive environment always helps out. So
Yeah, for sure. So draft day, where were you when you got the news that you were drafted? How was that
uh,
experience?
I was in Louisville. My family came down from Cincinnati to Louisville as well, and I think it was we were done with school, and I think the super regional had been going on and or was about to go on during the week, and um, just a really cool experience. I was sitting at home, and my family was there, my roommates were there, and some of my teammates, and we just kind of sat down and watched the draft, and then I got a phone call, and they let me know, and
Hmm.
just a really cool experience for me, and but really a cooler experience for my family.
Sure.
I was really happy for my mom and dad to get to experience that with me and my sister as well, and they know I worked so hard at
Hmm.
baseball and just really wanted this for myself, and so having them there and them getting to see it pay off was really cool as well. And yeah, we were just sitting in my house in Louisville watching it, and my name got called, and the hugs
Hmm.
and the tears
Yep. Yep.
began from there. So really
Did
cool
you cry?
experience. I didn't, but my mom and sister did,
Oh, of
and
course.
my
Yeah.
my dad my dad's a pretty hard nosed dude, so he gave me a handshake and a hug and said this is just the beginning, and
Yep.
just to keep focused and keep working hard. And so that's something I try to do every day, is just put my head down and focus on what I need to do to better myself every day as a baseball player and as a person. And I get a lot of that from my mom and dad. That's kind of how they have always taught me as I've
Mm.
grown up, is if you're going to be a good baseball player, we want you to be a good person too. And
Yeah, absolutely.
so that's a focus of mine always as well. So
Yeah, definitely, definitely. That's a great mentality to have. So you went
absolutely.
from playing in the ACC, where you probably flew private, you had incredible facilities everywhere you were,
Exactly. Yeah.
everywhere you went, to the
Right.
Pioneer League and the minors.
Yep.
How was that change going from like incredible
So
facilities to the
very,
minors? And did anyone prepare you for that?
I don't think anybody can really prepare you for that, because you don't really know until you
Yeah.
jump into it. So that was a great experience for me. And the Pioneer League was a long travel days, that's for
Mm-hmm.
sure. And I was also finishing up school while I
Oh
was in the
wow,
Pioneer League. So
it's incredible.
once I got drafted, I just continued with school. Just kept doing it online. And so we'd be on a bus at like 4 a.m. driving somewhere, and I'd have like my hotspot on my phone connected, typing a paper, and guys are like, "What are you doing?" And
Grinding.
I'm like, "I'm trying to graduate here. Like, I'm
Yeah.
almost done. I'm so close." And so I ended up getting it done and graduating, and I got a degree in sports administration and a
Mm-hmm.
minor in communications. And just very glad I went about that the way I did, just instead of taking a break from school, because it is tough to get back into school mode like
Yeah.
that. So that was just something I promised my mom and dad, that
Good
if
for
I was
you.
leaving school early after my third year, I was going to graduate as well. And so I just continued to hammer it online. And then during the fall, I went back and did my internship under Coach Mack and worked with the team, and
Mm-hmm.
got that out of the way, and then got my diploma. So that was a really cool little grind for me as well. It's like
Yeah.
4 a.m. on a bus, and I'm typing a paper,
Jeez.
and guys are looking at me like, "What are you doing?" And so, very cool
Dude,
experience.
wow. Well, hey, well, at least you were able to have something to do while on those bus
Absolutely,
drives, because those
yeah.
get
I
long.
mean, oh, the Pioneer League travel is no joke. We'd finish a game at like 10:30 at night, and then we'd have like a 14 or 15-hour drive back home. And we were all on one bus. And
Uh-huh.
you get very comfortable with your teammates being on one bus
Yep,
for
yep.
14 or 15 hours, let me tell you. So that was something that I hadn't really been used to, because like you said, we were mostly taking planes when we were going to play, and if we were driving, we were taking two or three buses. And
Mm-hmm.
everybody was spread out on the bus. You had your own row and stuff. And that wasn't the case in the Pioneer League, which, helped me grow up really quickly.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful for that experience. And I really enjoyed that league, and that part of the country I had never seen before.
Mm,
So that was another cool thing that baseball has done for me. It takes me to a lot of cool places that
for
I
sure.
probably wouldn't get to see if I wasn't playing baseball. So
Yeah, no, I mean, the minors is a grind. I don't
it
know if
is.
everyone really understands that. And Kay told me that he said, I said, "What was your thought when you got to the minors?" He said, "I wish I was still playing in college." 'Cause I mean, it's
I,
it's
I can't
it
lie. I can't lie. I've texted that to my mom and dad before. God, gosh, I wish I was back in college. And I'm very thankful for everything in the minors. It's taught me a lot, no doubt.
yeah,
It's
for sure.
opened my eyes and shown me some really cool small towns, and given me some really good experiences with teammates and just different players and stuff as well. So.
Hmm. Yeah. So in the minors, what were some of the worst cities that you traveled to? Because it's like you said, it's a grind, and then you're stuck in these motels that are not the nicest. Some of
Right.
the cities in the middle of nowhere. Like, what was some of these cities that you're like, you'll never go to again, and you're just kind of like, man,
Uh,
where am I even playing in?
I played in Grand Junction, Colorado, which probably won't be making a trip back there anytime soon. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think the cool thing about these places that we go to is like the people you're with help make the experience. So I had some really great teammates back in 2019 when I got drafted, and obviously I kind of just got thrown into the fire from I was in
Mm-hmm.
Omaha, and then I got like a 2 or 3 week break after that, and then hopped into it. And my teammates are some of the greatest dudes that I've met from that team, and they kind of made the experience a lot better. But
Yeah.
like Grand Junction, Ogden, Utah probably isn't a place I'll be going to again. But these are all like smaller
Yep.
cities or towns, but like I think that's really cool because all these small places have some cool stuff to
Yeah.
offer. And it's just interesting to see different places for me, and not all of them being big cities and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. So I really enjoyed my time in these small towns and small
That's good.
cities as well.
That's good. What was one of your maybe your favorite places that you traveled while in the minors in any of the levels?
um we went to where did I go? When I made it to Double A, we went to Pensacola, Florida, and we're on the beach.
Oh,
So that
nice.
was that was a super cool place for me to get to go to. Being from Ohio, it's usually cold most of the time, but
Yep. Yep.
then again, the minor leagues getting to take you places that, I mean, I've been to Florida, but I haven't been to Pensacola, and it was really cool to just be close to a beach. And the ballpark we played at, the beach was basically in the behind the field, and
Mm.
so that was a really cool experience for me. And then I also really enjoyed playing in Biloxi too, on the beach as well, and the weather being warm and hot and super humid there as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a cool experience for me too. And then in the Midwest League, getting to go through Wisconsin and Iowa, just a couple places I haven't really thought about getting to look at or see, and so that gave me some good experiences as well.
Did you ever have any crazy fan interactions? I know fans can be pretty much like right on you in these minor
Yeah,
league
no
parks.
doubt.
I remember Anderson Miller. He was drafted by the Royals a few years
Yeah, I
ago.
know.
He
I
was
know
telling me,
Anderson Miller. He's
yeah,
buddies with some guys from Louisville. Him and Drew Ellis are good
yep,
buddies, and
yep.
so
He's
so
really good friends
I've
with Drew.
I've done some live ABs with Anderson before. He's a
Yeah,
really great guy, and hope he's doing really well.
yeah. I just actually he was on my last episode. I was talking to
Oh,
him,
sweet,
and yeah, really good guy. He has his own podcast,
fantastic.
really great
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah, I've seen he does have his own podcast. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So he told me one night, I think it was college night in Ohio, like all the right field or left field, can't remember what it was, were just all these drunk college kids, and they were just,
That sounds about right.
yeah, and they were just chirping at him, and then he hit a home run, and after a couple at bats, started cheering for him every time he went up to the plate, and they're just cheering, Anderson, and he just
That's
like
awesome.
loved that whole experience. He's telling me one time he was lining up on a bus, and some fan asked for his autograph, and he's like, "What? Do you even know my name?" And then fans like, "No." He's like, "Okay, then no." So there's all these interactions with fans. Like, do you have
Right.
any interesting stories?
I haven't had any like super crazy interactions with fans. For the most part, fans are part of the game and what
Yeah.
make the game so great, in my opinion. So, when fans ask for autographs and stuff, I don't usually ask any questions. I just kind of sign it.
Yep.
And I've heard some pretty crazy stories from teammates and whatnot. So I'm sure there are some crazy fans out there asking some crazy questions and stuff, but I haven't been a part of any of that just yet. But yes,
Uh,
I haven't had any like super crazy experiences with fans just yet, and I've only played one full season,
mhm.
so I'm sure it'll happen at some point, but nothing too crazy yet. But fans are great.
Yeah.
They make baseball great, and everybody likes bringing the energy to the field, and I think the fans do a good job of bringing that energy as well. A packed baseball stadium is always nice to play in.
Yep.
So that obviously very thankful for the fans, and just the love that they have for the game, and no matter who they're watching is really cool to see as well throughout the minor leagues.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I'm sure you'll get some. I'm sure you'll get the fans chirping at you, sending you those
Absolutely.
messages on Twitter.
I,
Like,
I experienced that in college a lot.
oh, okay. What are
I,
some of
I
the
wouldn't
more
say
craziest, like chirps that you've gotten?
so. The one I can remember is my sophomore year at Louisville.
Hmm.
I was playing in Lubbock, Texas. That is a place am thankful I never have to go back and play in.
Never
That
heard of it.
atmosphere at Texas Tech. So
Mm.
they're in Lubbock, Texas,
Okay.
and so I was pitching against Texas Tech, and they packed the stadium, no doubt. And so I had my pitching coach came out to talk to me on a visit. My outing wasn't going great, and so their stadium is kind of like they are literally like on top of you. It
Oh, wow.
feels like,
Hmm.
and so he came out to visit, and he walked away, and the whole stadium was pretty. It was packed. It was sold out for sure, but it was pretty quiet. And I was like messing with my same chain I have on right now,
Hmm.
which is just a cross my mom gave me in the second grade. I've worn it for a very long time, and um, I was messing with it, and a guy, like, I felt like I was in a movie watching this. A guy screams out and he's like, "Hey, Bennett, quit messing with your promise necklace your girlfriend gave you." And the whole place like started laughing at me. And I felt like it was like planned or
Oh,
something. It was pretty crazy to hear all those fans literally like hysterically laughing at me while I was on the mound. So
that's a good one though. That you got to give them
yeah,
credit
no,
because I mean,
I,
there's some
I
like,
I laughed myself, smiled, and gave a
yeah,
nice nod because I mean that brought some entertainment to the field, no doubt about it.
yeah, it's probably one of the more interesting, like because you can talk about people's parents, and moms, and all, but
Right,
when it's humorous, you got to find the
right.
humor in it,
You're
and
right,
that was well
exactly.
done. You got to tip your
It
hat.
was, it was, it was very humorous, and the fans loved it. And like when I got back in the dugout, some of my teammates were like, that was actually kind of funny, and I was like, yeah, I kind of laughed it off on the mound too. So baseball is great for stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's such a serious game, and we
Hmm.
try so hard at it, and there's a lot on the table when playing, but the lighter side of it, like that, brings a lot of smiles and a lot of good stuff to the game as well. So
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, I'm a Nick Benett guy now. You're friend of the pod, so if I see that on Twitter, I got you. I'll chirp back at them for you. You don't got to worry about that. I got your
I
back here.
appreciate I appreciate that having my back. That's big time.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, friend of the podcast. So let's talk
Absolutely.
about the Brewers farm system. You're in a team, in a system of an organization, like we said, really, really solid organization. They're obviously World Series contenders. They have some really good
Absolutely.
talent. They also have Louisville guys, right? They drafted Corey
Yeah.
Ray. You didn't play
Yep.
with him, but Devin Harrison, you played with
Yep.
him
I
back
played with
in.
Devin before he's with the Marlins now, and
Yeah.
I still play against Devin, and I see Devin in the off season. We had a Louisville golf outing, and I
Hmm.
saw Devin at the golf outing, and saw him at a wedding as well, at Cade McClure's
Hmm.
wedding. So Devin and I are pretty close. We cross paths a lot as well, which is really cool. So I got to see him a good amount this year.
Yeah, yeah. Did he give you congratulations text when you got drafted? Because at that time he
He
was
did, yeah.
with the Brewers.
All my teammates reached out to me, or
Sweet.
all my former teammates that I played with reached out to me, and Devin did too. And
Hmm.
that was a really cool experience, getting to kind of jump into a system where there are
Yeah.
some Louisville guys and some familiar faces.
Yeah, no, for sure. So you played in Wisconsin and Biloxi last season.
Yep.
How was that?
I loved every second of it in both
Good.
places.
Nice.
Appleton, Wisconsin is a great town to play minor league baseball in. Great fans and a fantastic stadium. And summer nights in Wisconsin are really nice weather wise, and something I
Hmm.
really enjoyed. The game would start and it'd be 70, 75 degrees, and it would dip into the 60s at nighttime. And the fans are great there as well. We usually get a lot of fans, pack the stadium as well. And then I also loved my time in Biloxi as well. Getting to be moved up is always a great
Hmm.
experience, and something that is really cool and you cherish. And so playing there was awesome too. All my teammates in both places are fantastic, and
Hmm.
something I really enjoy making friends along this journey
Yeah.
of baseball, because you know, when you're struggling, it can get a little lonely. So just being able to have teammates that are true friends to me, and guys you can talk to and lean on a little bit is always
Mm-hmm.
nice as well. It kind of feels like you're within a family, because I know the season's really long, and
Yeah.
you're with these guys the whole year, whether you like it or not. So, being able to just be friendly with all of the guys and
Yeah.
make relationships with them is really a cool experience for me as well, and something I really enjoyed my first full year, no doubt about it.
Yeah, and to play in 2 different levels in your first full year, that's incredible.
Absolutely,
That obviously
absolutely.
shows the talent that you have. So in Biloxi, who is somebody that the Brewer fans, because there's, like I said, a lot of talent. Who's someone in that organization, that system or the team, who Brewer fans should be excited for? Besides you, obviously, you're first there. Uh, but
Right.
who are some names? Like I said, incredible talent.
Playing with guys like, first in Wisconsin, guys like Joey Weimer.
Yeah.
He's really he played at University of Cincinnati,
Yep.
and he's a Midwest guy. So me and him have that going for us. A little connection there in
Hmm.
Cincinnati, and he's a fantastic player, and a really good dude as well. So that's always nice. And then, in Biloxi, I got to play with Garrett Mitchell, who is just
Yep.
a fantastic ball player and great dude as well. And somebody who is going to be in the big leagues here soon, and Brewers fans are really going to enjoy watching him play. And he brings a lot to the table and can do a lot on the baseball field.
Hmm.
He's a game changer for sure. And I'm just as excited as I'm sure our Brewer fans to watch him
Mm.
play in the big leagues one day. So he was somebody who was really talented and really cool to play with him as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I know all those names that you said are people that we've watched the last couple of years, and we're excited to see them in the majors. I'm excited to see you come up soon. Hopefully that is sooner than later. Who's the locker room guy in Biloxi? Like, who's the guy who controls the music, kind of sets the mood?
Uh, we had a lot of different. The cool thing about being in Biloxi was we had a lot of different guys like that. Biloxi was kind of like an older team in a way, and so we had a lot of good guys who were just locker room dudes, and can crack a joke, make the team laugh, and just bring other stuff to the table
Mm.
besides baseball. And I think we had a lot of different guys who could do that. Brent Diaz, who's a catcher, was also my roommate when I was in Biloxi. He was fantastic, and obviously Bryce Terang is just a
Hmm.
fantastic baseball player and just a great mind in baseball as well. He's really smart on the field, and he's one of my good friends as well. I live with him too, and he's a great locker room dude too. He's always positive, always bringing good vibes to the locker room, and somebody I really have enjoyed playing with back in this past year for sure. So.
Awesome. I mean, that's it. What do you do to get prepared for a start? Like, are you kind of like the calm thinker? Or are you kind of like loud music in your ears, is ready to rock and roll?
No, for me, it kind of like depends on the day sometimes. For the most part, I'm usually the calm guy. I'll listen to music sometimes when I'm like rolling out or stretching before I start, but I'm for the most part, the calm and serious guy on start day. I usually show up to the field a little bit later those days and make sure I'm hydrated before and get my good sleep in, and then I show up to the field, and those guys are expecting me to go out and perform just
Hmm.
as I want them to perform. So I want to make sure I'm doing everything I can to prepare and make sure I bring my A game on, because starting pitching can be a tough job.
Yeah.
Say you have a bad outing one day. I mean, for me, I know it's not easy to just throw that away, because that's the last time you pitched, and you don't pitch for another 5 or 6 days, depending
Right.
on how the rotation works. So, being able to have a short memory in minor league baseball and just pro baseball in general, I think is really huge. And so I'm always making sure I'm prepared, and for the most part I'm the quiet and serious guy. But I mean, if guys talk to me, I'm going to talk to them. I'm not ignoring anybody when I'm in the locker room or anything. But on start day, I'm there to go about my business, and make sure I'm having fun with it as well, for
Hmm.
sure.
Do you have any superstitions?
Not really any superstitions. When I go out to the mound before every inning, I draw my grandpa's initials, and then
Wow.
I last year I was also drawing my mother's initials just
Hmm.
because she was going through breast cancer, and
Yeah.
so I would draw a ribbon in the dirt as well, and just something to remind me, like, hey, there are bigger things in the game of baseball, and life is precious, and there's a lot of important people that I care about, and so I just do that as a little memory,
Hmm.
for my grandpa, and then as my mother was battling cancer as well. So that's just something I do. I draw a cross as well in the dirt before every inning, and say a little prayer before I
Hmm.
start my inning, and that's just something I've done since college, and
Yeah.
something I'll continue to do. But I don't really have any like superstitions. I'm not wearing the same pair of underwear when I start or anything like that. So, um, you know, there are a lot of guys that do have
Yeah.
superstitions. I didn't really run into any guys like in Biloxi or Wisconsin that like made it noticeable for me to
Hmm.
see their superstition or anything. And I think that's part of how superstitions work.
Yeah.
You
Yeah. You can't,
kind of got to keep it under the radar and just do what you need to do, and then you play your game. But yeah, that's just something I'll do before every inning when I pitch, and just thank God for allowing me to be able to be out here and do what I love to do every
yeah.
single day. So
It's incredible. Well, awesome. Well, let's kind of end on this. When you're not pitching or training, what do you do for fun?
I'm a huge golfer. I could play golf every single day of my life if possible. I When our season got canceled in 2020, my dad is also, I get this from my dad. My dad's a
Hmm.
big golf guy as well, and that's something that has brought me and him very close to one
Mm.
another, is just being able to go outside and play golf together. And so when our season got canceled in 2020, he took me to get fitted for clubs, and so once I got fitted for clubs, I just really started to, practice golf, go to the driving range, watch videos. Just That's just like a competitive hobby for me, kind of on the side of when baseball's not here during the off season, that I like to do with my friends and teammates, and especially my dad. When I'm at home in Ohio, we don't care if it's 30 degrees out. If the sun's out, we'll get out there in warm clothes and play golf whenever
Mm.
we
Mm.
want. And so I like to play golf, and I like to play video games as well. I do have a decent amount of downtime in the evenings,
Yeah.
after I eat dinner and stuff. So my roommate, who's here with me now in Arizona, him and I will play a lot of video games together before bed, and so that's something I like to do as well.
Who's your roommate?
Justin Jarvis
Okay.
is my roommate. He was in high A the whole year this year with me. We lived together in high A as well. And so he's out here working out and throwing, getting ready for the season as well, and working with some trainers at the facility. And so him and I have a place together, and we usually end the night with some video games before we go to bed. So
That's incredible. You'll have to put a good word in for me to get him on the podcast.
he would love to hop on. We could get him on here for sure, no doubt.
Yeah. What do you play? COD, Fortnite? What's your go-to
So
game?
I've been playing Call of Duty for a while. What really got me into video games was Fortnite back in college. Funny story. So my I had an Xbox at the time, and Fortnite came out on PlayStation first, I believe. And so I was always playing on my roommate's PlayStation, and when he would get home, he'd want to play, and I'd be sitting there playing. And he eventually got fed up with that. So eventually, I bought my teammate's PlayStation in Louisville. He got a new one and had an old one, so he gave me the old friendly discount,
Yep.
and I
Yep.
bought that from him and downloaded Fortnite. And that was something that a lot of me and my Louisville teammates did. We would play Fortnite for hours. Once we
Yeah.
get done with school and study hall and the field and everything, we would play Fortnite as a team all the time. So that's really what got me into video games. Then Fortnite kind of died down a little bit
Hmm.
for me, and I picked up Call of Duty, and now I'm picking Fortnite back up again. So that's something I play with. I still play. I play with my roommate Justin, and then a couple of my teammates from Louisville, Brian Hoeing, who's with the Marlins. Me and him play a lot of Fortnite together, and I think it's just a cool way to keep up with your friends and have conversation
Yep.
along with, playing some video games at the same time. So,
Absolutely. I was just talking to Hobie Harris. He signed a
okay.
minor league with the Brewers. He's a big Fortnite guy. I told him he and I are gonna squad up sometime. He's actually on his
That's
honeymoon right now.
awesome.
Just got married, but
Okay. Awesome.
yeah, dude.
Congrats
But
to him. That's
well,
fantastic.
yeah, we'll have to squad up sometime. See if we can
Absolutely. Let me know. Let me know. I'm always down to play. We pretty much get done at the field around 12 or 1 every day, and then from then on it's video games or golf for me, and then wake up and do the same thing. So
love it.
I really
You are living the dream, man.
living the dream. I'm not complaining in the absolute slightest. I enjoy every single day that I get to go to the field and then either go out in the warm weather and play
Yep.
golf, or sit down and relax my body and play a little video games. So
Yeah. Once we get off, I'll have to get your gamer tag. We'll hop on
absolutely,
sometime. I
sure,
play
no
every
doubt.
night. You're actually what, an hour or two behind me, so that works out perfectly.
I think just an hour behind
An
you.
hour.
So
Okay. Yeah.
yep,
Perfect.
yep,
Right on. Oh, hey, I want to thank you for coming on.
absolutely.
I'm gonna send your roommate a DM, see if he can come on the pod. I'd love to have him
Absolutely.
on. Like I said, I'm a big
we'll get him
Brewers
on.
guy.
We'll get him on here for sure.
For sure. All right. Appreciate that. You have a great rest of your day, man.
Absolutely. You too. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah. I'll talk to you later.